welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Thursday, so we're going to be talking some DFS value picks for DraftKings. If you guys play on a different site for DFS other than DraftKings, just keep in mind some of the names I'm mentioning today. See how they're priced out on your site. They should be pretty similar in regards to values. Just keep in mind that they do vary site to site. Without further ado, we'll get into the DFS value picks for this week. And we'll start at the quarterback position. Alright, normally I try to go below 6,000. I'm going to mention a couple guys before I get down below the 6,000 guys. So we got Matt Stafford coming in at 6,500. They go against Atlanta this week. It should be a pretty good matchup for him overall. Atlanta's defense has been pretty awful against the pass. Look for Stafford to have multiple touchdowns in this game. Then we got Justin Herbert going up against Jacksonville. Their defense has struggled quite a bit as well. And he comes in at $6,400, so he could have a good week as well. Then we'll get down to some of the cheaper guys. We got Carson Wentz, 5,700. Goes against the Giants tonight, actually. He could have a decent game in this one. It's a decent streaming option. $5,700 could be a value as well. Then we have Joe Burrow coming in at $5,500. I know he hasn't been quite as good the last couple of weeks, but they go against the Browns defense that hasn't been the best so far this year. He did put up decent numbers against them the first time they played. So look for him to do more of the same this week. Then we have Derek Carr coming in at $5,400 still. If you guys remember 2 weeks ago, he had that big game against Kansas City, and his price only went up $100. That's kind of crazy, honestly. He goes against Tampa Bay's defense that was very good last week, been very good pretty much throughout the year, but their one weakness is they can be beat over the top. He does have some field stretchers and Henry Ruggs and Nelson Aguilar, so he could have a decent game in this one, and $5,400 is definitely a value for him there. Last but not least, we got Kyle Allen coming in at $5,200. He's pretty much the cheapest quarterback that we know is going to start this week. And he hasn't been awful, but he hasn't been good either. So he's just the cheap guy. Then we'll move over to the running back position. There's a couple guys that I like towards the top. Probably not considered values, but for what they're going to give you, they're definitely worth it. So this is probably a week where you want to play Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones. Both of them are very talented running backs, and they're going against poor run defenses. So they're two names to consider. They're not values per se, but I figured I would at least throw them out there. I'm going to be setting some lineups with them in as my first two guys. Then we'll move down to the value picks. DeAndre Swift comes in at $5,400. Probably about right for him. He was very efficient last week. He got more carries. He saw a little bit more work. We'll have to see if that continues moving forward. They do play against Atlanta, who hasn't been the best. He does catch the ball out of the backfield, so there is definitely an opportunity for him there, especially if they get down early. Then we have David Johnson coming in at $5,300. Goes against the Packers' poor run defense. David Johnson overall isn't the greatest this year, but against the Packers, he could have a decent game. Then I got James White coming in at $4,900. Pretty much about the same value he's been at, so he's still a little bit undervalued. They go against San Francisco this week. He should continue to see a decent workload, and he's a pretty safe play overall. Justin Jackson is also $4,900. He could end up leading the backfield in touches this week for the Chargers. They go against Jacksonville defense this week. That's not very good, so don't be surprised if he puts up a good point total. Then right underneath him is Devonta Freeman, $4,800. He's been getting a lot of volume lately, so at $4,800, he could definitely be a value. If he lucks his way into the end zone against Philadelphia, he definitely could be worth this price. Kenyon Drake is also $4,800, and if you saw a Monday Night Football game, he looked very good in there. He had a great game. Chase Edmonds is still overpriced over him, even though Drake's getting the most of the work, and he's looked a little bit better the last couple of weeks. So he's definitely a guy that could definitely be worth it for $4,800. They do go against Seattle defense that's not the greatest in the world as well. Then we go down to Gio Bernard. He's $4,500, and this one's purely just if Joe Mixon doesn't play. He had a foot injury last week, didn't practice yesterday. How his outlook looks going forward, but if he doesn't play, Bernard could be a great value play. Then we got to mention Frank Gore and LaMichael Pirine. They're $4,300 and $4,200 respectively. One of these two guys is going to get work, and if the Bills' defense is as bad against the run as they were against Kansas City, somebody could turn up with some value. I can't tell you which one it's going to be at this point. Pirine played on more snaps, but Gore got more work. Jeff Wilson is another guy that, honestly, if you guys have been watching my channel, I'm a big Jeff Wilson fan in general. But he's $4,000. He didn't play last week. I know everybody's jumping on JaMychal Hasty now. But JaMychal Hasty's not good. Jeff Wilson's better than him. McKinnon, for whatever reason, something's up with him. The 49ers aren't telling us. And he's going to be very hit or miss this week. He's way overpriced on DraftKings, honestly. So Jeff Wilson could be a guy that we look for some value here. The Patriots defense did allow over 100 yards rushing to Phillip Lindsay last week. So it's not the worst matchup in the world either. Then last but not least, I got Jamal Williams for 4,000. He goes against the Houston Texans' poor run defense as well. They gave up over 200 yards to Derrick Henry last week. Aaron Jones will get a lot of work in this game, but if the Packers are ahead early, then Jamal Williams could end up getting quite a few carries, and at $4,000, he could definitely be a value. Wide receiver position, we're going to look at mainly guys that are under $5,000. I'm going to mention one guy that's just above that threshold, and that's Brandon Cooks, $5,200. Then he goes against the Packers this week. The Texans could be down in this one, have to throw the ball. He's looked very good the last couple weeks, so we'll have to see if that continues. And at $5,200, he definitely could be a value. Then Mike Williams coming in at $4,700. I like his matchup against Jacksonville. Keenan Allen's still questionable. I think he'll play, but Mike Williams could be that guy that gets the big play over the top. Justin Herbert's been known to throw the deep ball so far this year, so it's definitely a matchup that is good for him. Then we got Tim Patrick coming in at $4,600, just below him. And they play Kansas City this week. Kansas City's been hit or miss against the passing game. Drew Lock didn't look good last week. He hasn't played good against Kansas City in general in his career. But Tim Patrick is going to be the lead wide receiver. If Noah Fant misses again, he's definitely going to see a handful of targets. Then I have Deontay Johnson, $4,200. He is questionable this week. I think he'll play, and this might be the cheapest he's ever going to be on DraftKings this season, $4,200. He's definitely a good wide receiver. I know Claypool's kind of broke out a little bit with him missing, but he's still going to see volume, and he's still going to be worth that $4,200. Then we got down to a lot cheaper guys, and DeMarcus Robinson's one, $3,400. I believe Sammy Watkins is going to be out again this week. DeMarcus Robinson, like I talked about in my waiver wire article, he played over 90% of snaps, so he's definitely out there on the field a lot. He definitely has volume, opportunity in this offense, and at the same time, all he needs is a touchdown to be worth it. Then we got Rashard Higgins, $3,000. I mentioned him last week. If you played him last week, he panned out because he got the touchdown. So there could be a little bit of volume there. Not the worst matchup in the world against Cincinnati as well. And then last but not least, we got Darnell Mooney, wide receiver number 2 for the Bears. He's just another guy that's $3,000 that could get you some points. You can't expect too much from him, but if he does end up scoring a touchdown, he's definitely going to put your lineup over the top. Then we got the tight end position. So I'm just going to, in general, these are the 5 guys that I like this week. So Hunter Henry's the first one, $4,500. Going against Jacksonville defense that's not great against the tight ends. So he could have a decent matchup there as well. Darren Fells is the next one, $4,100. The Packers allowed Rob Gronkowski to have a great week last week. Fells and Gronkowski are a similar body type, at least. They're big tight ends. They don't run the best anymore, essentially. And if Jordan Akins misses, Fells is going to be out there a lot. And maybe he creates a matchup for the linebackers of the Green Bay Packers. Then we got Austin Hooper, $4,000. He's been seeing targets lately. I think this is a good matchup for him against the Bengals as well. You saw what Trey Burton did to them last week, so Hooper could be another guy that you can take advantage of in a good matchup. Then we have Anthony Firkser for $3,000. This is pretty much just if Jonathan Smith does not play. If he doesn't play, Firkser is a steal for $3,000 if he puts up even half the stats that he did last week. Pittsburgh's defense may be tough, but they're going to be without Devin Bush. And Tannehill has shown a tendency to throw the ball to the tight end position, especially in this offense. Last but not least, we got Albert O for the Denver Broncos. Not even going to try to pronounce his last name. You guys probably know it by now, but last week was the first game he actually played in. He had 2 catches for 45 yards. So if Noah Fant doesn't play again, he should see some opportunity. Drew Lock is very, very comfortable with him as they were both at Missouri together, and he was his favorite target at Missouri. Last but not least, they got the defenses. So we'll start out with Washington. They're $2,500. They go against Dallas this week. Dallas's offensive line is decimated, essentially. If you saw the Monday night game, they got destroyed by the Cardinals. And Andy Dalton did not look good. If he plays anything like he did on Monday night, this is a very, very good matchup for a Washington football team. They have that good defensive line, and the Cowboys have that poor offensive line right now. Then I'm going to pair these two together. Bengals and the Browns. They play each other, and they're both $2,800. They both is opportunity for both these teams. But it could be a high-scoring game, kind of like the first time they played. So these are just kind of high-risk, high-reward defensive picks. Then I got the Bears at 3,000. They play against the Rams this week. The Rams' offense has been all right. They did struggle a little bit last week against the 49ers. So the Bears get off to a good start, and they have a good defense. They could be worth it in this one. Eagles coming in at $3,100. They go against the Giants. Daniel Jones, he's the turnover machine himself. So at $3,100, I feel this is a very fair play. Has a high upside potential as well. Then the last two I have are high-priced ones. So I got the Chiefs against Denver. Denver, like I said, Drew Lock hasn't been good. And he struggled against the Chiefs last year as well. So there's definitely an opportunity for turnovers there as well. Chiefs defense, they're not world beaters, but they're not bad by any means. Then last but not least is the Bills. They're the highest priced defense on the week, obviously, because they're playing the Jets, $4,700. They have a decent defense. Not as good as we expected probably going into the year. But in this matchup, it's a very good one overall. But that's all I got for the DFS picks for this week, for our value picks on DraftKings. If you guys have any other value picks that you thought I missed, feel free to leave them down in the comments. Let me know who some of your favorite picks are for this week. And with that being said, if you guys liked and enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And if you are a new or current subscriber who has yet to do so, also hit that notification bell and let you know every time that I put up a video. Like I've been saying, put up about 5 videos a week and a live stream on Sunday if I'm able to do so. Going to be doing a test on that today just to make sure the live stream works. And if it does, I'll let you guys know in tomorrow's video. But with that being said, that's pretty much all we got for today. If you guys need to reach out to me for any reason at all, feel free to do it, whether it's down in the comments at CoachCraigSports@gmail.com, on Twitter at CoachCraigSport, or on the Coach Craig Sports Facebook page. But with that being said, that's all we got for today's video. Hope you guys all enjoyed and have a great rest of your day.